Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori Hill, and on this channel we talk about skincare, makeup, and all things beauty. Today's video is a little bit different. It is actually a personal journey video that I highly recommend you stay and watch. This is especially for the women out there and the people in their lives that love them. Let's get started. So it was about my late 30s after I had my son that I hit sort of a depressive point in my life. Well, I thought it was mostly just clinical depression, and I tried everything: antidepressants, therapy, even alternative treatment like ketamine, which is legal in my state. Some of it helped, but not completely. And guess what? It wasn't just depression, I found out later. That's a spoiler alert for you. It was my hormones. So for those of you curious of how I found that out, at about 44 years old, I started getting like the odd hot flash here and there. And a hot flash is just this hot, tingly feeling, kind of starts at your head, goes throughout your whole body. But I wasn't getting them like consistently. I also was starting to get some missed periods. So I went and saw a gynecologist who looked at my chart and basically told me you're too young for any sort of menopause, or I guess even perimenopause, which is strange, you know? And I was told that I have to go a year with no period before they could even consider me for any kind of HRT therapy. And also that they needed to confirm it with blood work, which I found out later is completely false. You cannot diagnose perimenopause with blood work, even hormonal blood work. So this went on until about 47 years old, me going to the doctor saying, hey, I'm missing cycles, but I never actually missed a whole year's worth of cycles. And meanwhile, I was getting more and more down. Literally, I would wake up in a bad mood for no reason. And my sleep was getting worse every night. I think I stopped sleeping through the night in my late 30s. And ever since my late 30s, I was always waking multiple times with it being very hard to even fall asleep. So the doctors just thought I had insomnia, and I got diagnosed with that and put on, sleep medications. One of my symptoms was also anxiety. I had like the worst anxiety, and it was getting worse year by year. And the reason I really attributed this to perimenopause was because a lot of women online were saying that they felt heightened anxiety for no apparent reason, like their life wasn't more stressful as they got deeper into their 40s. So yeah, it was a really hard, basically 10-year period in my life from my late 30s to now. And my symptoms again were waking 3 to 4 times a night and feeling this feeling of dread, like my life was over when I would wake in those periods. Overall thoughts of dread, which contributed to me thinking that I had depression. But it was like this way worse than depression feeling of dread, just like there's no point to life anymore. The joy was just completely sucked out of moments in my life. I kick myself now thinking how many years I went through not having as much joy because of my hormones, which again, I later found out it was because of my hormones and how powerful hormones are. So I started researching online about menopause, and I started looking at the information on a menopause and perimenopause forum on Reddit. I noticed that I had very similar symptoms to a lot of the women on there. The hot flashes, the low moods, the cycling between moods that all started in my late 30s, having full-on migraines a few times a month, and brain fog, and so many other symptoms. And a lot of these women on the forum said that they had gotten online therapy help, and in the form of hormonal therapy online. And I was like, okay, maybe I should check that out. If an in-person doctor won't help me with my hormones, saying I'm too young, maybe I can try an online consultation and see if there's anything to my symptoms, because they so much mimicked these women's symptoms, and a lot of them felt so much better after getting on HRT. So that's how I found the sponsor of this video, which is Midi Health. So a lot of these women highly recommended Midi Health. That's where they went to get their HRT online. And they said they felt listened to and felt like taken seriously. So I made an appointment with them, and they are the sponsor of this video, but I don't want you to roll your eyes and think like, oh, this whole story was because of a sponsor. You guys, no. I was going to do this video no matter what. So after I used Midi, I was recommending them so much in person that my friends like started making it kind of like a joke. Like any ailment, they would be like, oh, okay, should I call Midi? Should I go to Midi? And it's like, that's how much I talked about Midi helping me. Midi Health is a virtual care clinic for women by women. It was created to bridge the gap in healthcare so you're not left figuring it out alone. Getting started with Midi is easy. Just set up your account, add your insurance, share your symptoms, and book a virtual visit in minutes. You'll chat with the nurse practitioner. They'll figure out what tests you need, and if blood work or imaging helps, they'll send you somewhere local that takes your insurance. So I scheduled with Midi Health, and my provider was named Tracy. She was very nice, very patient, and listened to everything that I described. And she immediately said, yeah, I'm going to start you on HRT, like the estradiol patch and progesterone. When she started me on the estradiol patch, we didn't even start at the lowest. We started like kind of the middle of the road because she said my symptoms were in full swing, like I needed help. And I remember she was like, okay, do you have any questions? And I said, okay, just one. Can you call it in like this afternoon? She's like, I am sending it in right as we speak. You guys, I got off that call and I drove to the pharmacy. They had my prescription ready and I put that patch on. I want to say within 1 to 2 hours, I was feeling relief. Like I felt something already. I felt a calmness and something was changing in my body. Within weeks, my sleep was better. I was maybe waking once a night, twice if I had had a lot like of water or something to drink. So I could sleep a good 8 or 9 hours. And I could fall asleep easier and my anxiety all but disappeared. I mean, like, I don't have anxiety. I don't, like, knock on wood. My mood, like, I experience so much joy now. Like, I did not feel that way for at least 10 years. Like, I don't feel this crazy low dip like I used to feel. I just feel so much better. You guys, I tell everyone who is in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond about getting on HRT if they're not. From what I heard, less than 2% of women are on hormone replacement therapy, which blows my mind. And this will not be the last video I make on this subject. Oh, I also want to tell you that skin. Okay, it seemed like overnight, my skin before I was on HRT, it was like going downhill so quickly. Even though I was still doing my skin routine, I was, doing good things for my skin. I wasn't drinking, nothing like that. It was like my skin aged overnight in my like mid 40s. I was like, what is going on? Once I got on estradiol, it feels like my skin completely renewed itself. It's amazing. It has like tautness, it has youthful plumpness, and it's just amazing. My provider at Midi, Tracy, also prescribed an estradiol cream that you're supposed to use to prevent GSM. This is something that women get as we age. Our private parts, I'm saying that so I don't get censored, actually shrink. When this shrinking happens, UTIs are more prevalent. We also get clitoral adhesions and we get shrinking of the clitoris. Just having this inexpensive cream that's prescription will help prevent all of these symptoms. It will also help your bladder. So I use that cream like twice a week. I didn't even know that happened to women. Did you? I feel like if men had the same thing happen to them where their private parts shrank, where their genitals shrank, like they'd be telling their sons to start using this cream once they hit like puberty. So I really want you guys to understand that this happens to every woman. You get shrinking of that area and the cream helps prevent it. If you guys want to use Midi Health for yourself, I highly recommend them, especially if you're tired of feeling dismissed. Midi makes it super easy to fit into your schedule with virtual follow-ups to fine-tune your treatment and keep things on track. They also work with your other doctors and refer you in person if needed. No memberships, no hidden fees, plus they'll bill your insurance just like a regular doctor's office. Go to this link and schedule your visit. They actually take a lot of insurances, like they took my health insurance. And please, you guys, use my code SAVE15 for $15 off your first RX product. Here's the QR code and here's the link right here. And I've also put it down below in my description box and in the pinned comments. I wish I had this at 44, but I'm so glad that I found them at 47. And you guys, you're gonna love them too. Okay, here's some other benefits I didn't know were gonna happen. As I mentioned already, my skin all over my body has renewed itself. Like, it is so much better. My hair has gotten more dense and full. I now can measure the circumference of a ponytail and it measures at 4 inches, which is right where your hair is considered thick, at 4 inches. My brain fog has lifted. I feel so much more in control and just more clear. Life is just happier and more clear. My sleep is freaking amazing. And I just feel now like I can take on the world. And I just want this for every woman out there. So we're going to keep talking about this particular issue. Ask me your questions about HRT. I am here to talk about it. And again, I highly recommend Midi. Make sure you visit my link down below. Let's keep this conversation going. I think the more we as women talk about it, the more women can be helped. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.